Okay, welcome back. So we will start from where we left in the previous video. We were looking at the balance sheet of Reliance Industries. In the previous video, I mentioned we have three balance sheets. So I just would like to show you the other two as well. This one is from another Indian company called Tata Steel. This one is also as of 31st March. Same pattern, almost the same details, same format. Slightly different though. This one is a bit more detail on financial assets and other things. So we'll be looking at it in detail a bit. Now the next one which we are looking at is the balance sheet of Apple. Now this one has a different format. As you can see, they are showing current assets first, and then the long-term assets and plant and machineries. While in this balance sheet they are showing non-current assets and then current assets and dividing into financial and non-financial. This is essentially because of the requirement of disclosure by listing stock exchanges in India compared to stock exchange in US. For this course, we will be looking at this Reliance balance sheet, which is a bit more, which is not too detailed, but is decent. So let's start. So we are looking at first column is the asset. So here you can see the assets are divided into non-current assets, and then there are current assets. So the assets are non-current assets, as we learned in previous video, are assets which are going to be used or can to be recovered with beyond 12 months, can be used for beyond 12 months. Current assets means they are going to be realized or they are going to be used up within 12 months of the end of the balance sheet, means they should be used by 31st of March 2019. These are the details of the notes. So we will look into the details of, let's look at the grand headings first. Property, plant and equipments. So the property, plant and equipments are essentially the assets of the company: land, building, plant, machineries, furniture, whatever the company owns in terms of financial or has rights to use. So this one also include the land which is on the lease, but the company has a right to use beyond 12 months. So this one also will be figured out here. This is usually net of depreciation, so which is another concept that we'll be looking at when we look at property, plant and equipments in detail. The next line is capital work in progress. So this means that whatever assets do we have in progress, or maybe they have some factories which they are building, they have some machineries which they are building, and it takes more than 1 year to build them. So they are all coming into capital work in progress. Now the next line is intangible assets. Intangible assets means the assets or rights or patents which you cannot see in physically. They are not tangible. You cannot touch them. You cannot feel them, but they are your rights. So most of the time, the intangible assets includes your goodwill, your patent, your brand value, your trademarks. So these are intangible assets. The goodwill mostly come from the acquisition of another entities, where you pay the price for more than what is the book value of the company. So means you are paying a premium for the future prospects of the business. So that is called goodwill, in short, in very generic terms. Financial, then there are intangible assets under development, means that probably they are working for development of some brands, or they are developing the trademarks. So that all are called as intangible assets under development. So there are accounting standards, there are financial reporting standards, international financial reporting standards, which dictates what how and when these things can be recognized, and when these things cannot be recognized, means they need to be charged to the expenses. There are some creative accountings also handling. Sometimes happens when the company, instead of charging off the expenses to the P&L, to the profit and loss, they park in somewhere in the assets, so that it can be charged later to show more profits. So the users of financial statements need to be careful, see the materiality first, is it the figure is material to make the decision. So if the company is making a net profit of, let's say, we can see here the net profit of $30,000 here, total $30,000, yeah, then $6,000 can be considered as material, because if let's say that was a fake amount, I'm not saying that it is fake, but if we say it was fake, then the profit should have been $6,000 less, so it's going to have been only 27,000, and then the EPS, the earning share, and the potential forecast of the potential market value would have gone down. Now, there are many reasons why the companies overvalue the fixed assets. Sometimes they hide the expenses, sometimes they don't want to charge the depreciation to the profit and loss so that the profit shows higher value. Sometimes they charge more to avoid the taxes. So there are many the details how we need to understand it is come from the accounting assumptions which are a part of the balance sheet. We will look at it, we need to understand it more when we look at more details. Financial assets, they are long-term investments or long-term loans that the company has given. Here you can see that Reliance has made total investments of nearly equal to their property, plant and equipments, which is we will look into the details what are those investments in a bit. Then you have total other non-current assets. Here you will see the details of these non-current assets in number 4. We will be looking at it as well. Then you have a next section of current assets. So current assets means the assets which are going to be used within or consumed within next 12 months. So inventories means your capital stock, your raw material, your finished goods, your which are going to be sold in couple of months, maybe next month, 10 months, 20 months, or these are usually hold for sale. Financial assets means how many short-term investments. So the company has made short-term investments as well. They have receivables of $10,000. They have cash of $2,700. They have given loans, short-term loans, other financial assets, and then there are some other current assets. So these are the number of schedules that we can see for details. The details we will be looking at in the next video. Stay tuned.